they feed you. So for that one registration, they feed your entire family. It's not just the archer that gets fed. If you show up with 25 of your family members, they will feed them.
They will feed you.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Raising an Archer, and I'm Scott.
And I'm Kari. And today we are diving into the unique event, Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Archery Competition.
Very unique. A couple reasons why it's unique is one is it's not during the actual rodeo. It's in October of every year, but guess what? It's still 100% rodeo.
That's right, Scott. Rodeo Houston moved the event because the event was growing so fast.
And they were trying to even squeeze it in a couple years ago, like the week before the rodeo.
Right.
And guess what? It was a nightmare. I mean, there was so many trucks and tractors and everything moving around, and they're trying to get the dirt in there. But guess what? It's a very unique shoot, and it is one of the most exciting in the state of Texas for the youth, for our youth archers. Before we get started, as you notice, we have a new voice, Kari. Kari is going to be the new co-host for Raising an Archer. I do want to thank Wendy for all that she's done. Wendy and I did 75 podcasts together. We've done thousands of hours of live coverage. Raising Archer would not be where it's at without her, but it's time for Raising Archer to move on to the next stage. And I just want to welcome Kari to the show.
Thank you, Scott. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, so let's get back to some rodeo action. Let's talk about Ranching and Wildlife Committee. This committee is who makes this happen.
They are the volunteers and heart behind Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Archery Competition. The committee started in about 2007 with roughly 262 committee members to date.
That number may be a little bigger because this number was from last year.
Right. These committee members help the tournament be what it is. They feed us with hospitality all weekend long, not just us, but the archers, the family members, the spectators. They are there scoring with the kids on the line. These kids will get to know their committee member for the day, and there's friendships built. Hunting stories have been shared.
It's funny that you mention that because I'll talk to some of them. They specifically look at the list of archers that they've worked with before, and they request to be on those bales because they want to see these kids continue to grow.
And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of watching the kids interact with the Ranching and Wildlife Committee members is there's relationships built. Even when we've checked in personally, they're like, "Oh, Kari, you're Connor's mom, and my dad, and there's always some kind of connection." These committee members are locals from every county in the state of Texas. I think has some representation in the committee members.
And this event would not go on without them.
No, not at all.
They do an amazing job. You'll never go to a competition that's better than this one. I'd like to kind of tell you the history of this competition. In 2019, they opened it up to 60 spots. That was it.
I can't believe that. I just feel like that's such a low number.
It filled up pretty quick.
Houston. I'm sure it did.
It filled up pretty quick. It was during the rodeo. They had a huge screen. And we were there. We were at the first one. My son was in that first 60. There was this ginormous screen that was right behind the bales. So they were very cautious of sky drawing and all of that stuff. And it was really, I would say, I'm going to say over the top. I don't blame them.
Right.
Because if somebody's arrow flew off, it hit this multi-million-dollar screen, and they wanted to protect that screen. In 2020 was COVID. And then they started back up. 2021, there was 200 archers. 2022, it was 230. They hit their largest number ever in 2023 with 360 archers, and that one was in March. That was the one that was the week before the rodeo.
Right, and that's the first that Raising an Archer was live broadcasting there.
That was the first time we did Raising an Archer, and also the first time we did Eyes on Score, which was live scoring for them. Then it was an interesting year because 2024's event was in October of 2023.
Right. That's when they realized that the event could grow and that we outgrew the space that we were allotted. So that's why they moved us to October.
Yeah, and that number went down just a little bit, and it was because of timing. People didn't understand what was going on. There was a lot going on the weekend that was picked within 4-H.
Right.
Didn't give a lot of people a lot of time to schedule and get everything in order.
Get their programs going.
Then in 2025 was the largest year yet. That's when they introduced 3D, which was target and 3D. Target hit 360, 3D hit 204, which equaled 564 archers. Significant jump in.
That's impressive.
So it really tapped into a couple different groups. The one thing I didn't realize was going to happen that year was that I assumed that if you shot 3D, you would shoot target. I didn't think it would be the other way around, where if you shot target, that you would shoot 3D. I thought there would be target archers that just said, I'm not shooting 3D. There were a lot of 3D archers that I talked to that didn't shoot target. They just showed up to shoot 3D and left.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. And we're kind of the other way around, where we shoot a lot of target, or Connor does, and we just entered 3D just to see what happens, because that's not really his field of play. That's not his game.
Right. And that's what I was expecting,
so-
because that's the case for a lot of them.
Right.
So now let's fast forward. 2026 Rodeo, that's the one that's coming up here pretty quick. There's already over 450 archers signed up. Couple more weeks. That means registration is still open.
Yes, you can register on Eyes on Score. Registration will be open until October 9th.
Yep. And if you go to the event center for Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the registration's out there as well.
Yep.
And the rules, if you want to know the rules. Well, and we'll cover some of the rules here. There's a few that are a little different than a normal 3D shoot, a little different from target as well, and we'll explain why. Kari, so whenever a parent shows up, I know the kids are just grabbing their stuff and going. As a parent shows up, what should they expect, and how should they guide their archer through this? Because it is a big location.
It is a very large location. Walking in, you will find the check-in table. Volunteers will be there taking your I-9 forms and also distributing your swag bags and check-in information. From there, you'll walk in through big double doors to the practice range and bow storage area. Please remember, when you are traveling with your equipment, to bring a case, because going from the vehicle to the NRG Center, it is required that the bow equipment be in their bow case. Practice area and bow storage has ample amount of seating, lots of tables. There might be the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo swag was there last year, where they were selling, caps, t-shirts, and stuff like that. From the bow storage area, you'll walk straight into the hospitality room, where Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo provided games, cornhole. I think there was even like a climbing jungle gym type thing there last year, and I think there were horseshoes as well. And that's where we eat. That's where all of the barbecue teams will serve breakfast, lunch, and was it dinner last year too? I'm not familiar with if there was
No,
dinner.
there was no dinner.
No dinner, but breakfast and lunch, snacks are all right there. Lots of tables and chairs, seating. This is where we will also have awards after the competition on Sunday. To the right of the hospitality hall is the target facility, and then to the left of the hospitality hall is where a 3D competition will take place.
So you just walk between them. It's sitting right in between the two.
Right.
Let's talk about the food a little bit. This is the part that I really enjoyed.
Yes, it's my favorite too.
It was the best part. I loved archery, but they feed you. So for that one registration, they feed your entire family. It's not just the archer that gets fed. If you show up with 25 of your family members, they will feed them.
They will feed you.
They may not want everybody to bring 25 people, but I'm just saying, like, they make plenty of food for everyone.
Breakfast tacos with all the fixins. I think there was like fruit bar with it was fruit options, yogurt options, granola options.
It is different every year, but we're just kind of telling you what the experience was.
Yeah, what we've had before in the past. Dinner or lunch was burgers, and then I think pulled pork.
Yeah,
barbecue sandwiches or pulled pork sandwiches.
There was a barbecue one day. There was burgers one day.
You can't beat it though, because that food is cooked and prepared by the Go Texan barbecue teams.
Yep.
And it's really good.
It's great.
Food.
It's great. So we were talking about what to expect. Let's move on to what does the format of the tournament look like? And this is the part that I think is the most important. So if you're listening to this, listen closely, and you can re-listen to this, because we're going to try to get you all the new information for this tournament, because it is a little different than what it's been in the past and a little different than any other tournaments you've been a part of.
It is. There were a lot of new changes, which I think is good. I think most of them were good. Starting with age groups. In the past, we have shot just junior, which was about age 8 to 14.
It was 8 years old to 13.
Till 13. Okay.
Yep.
And then senior was 14 to 18. This year, they have aligned their age groups more with 4-H, which is junior, which 3rd through 5th grade, intermediate 6th through 8th grade, and senior 9th through 12th grade.
Well, let's be clear on that. The rules are age, not grade.
Not grade.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're junior. You're a junior if you're 8 years old to your 10th. So 8 to 10 as of August 31st.
Perfect.
So whatever it is on August 31st, that's your age. That's what you do. Intermediate's 11 to 13, and then seniors 14 to 18.
Okay. So pretty close.
Yeah, it's close, but they wanted to be very specific on the age because the homeschooler groups are, some of the kids are way ahead.
Right.
Some of them are behind. So you don't want a kid to be a freshman at 12 years old having to compete against a high schooler when he should be in that lower lower grade.
You are correct. That's good.
And it could be the other way around too.
That was a good decision on their part.
Yeah. Other thing to note, if there are 24 people in your division, we're going to talk target first. If there's 24 people in your division or more, they're going to do the top 8 this year, which is new.
For the shoot-offs.
Yep, for the shoot-offs. And the shoot-offs have always been just compound at 8 and everybody else at 4, top 4.
So all divisions.
All
they also added a division for target this year.
They did.
Called fixed pins.
So there's barebow, which they've always had. They've had recurve. They've had freestyle. And then they have NASP. And they added fixed pins. Fixed pins, the rules on that is a normal, if you've been part of bow hunter divisions or USA fixed pins, 12 inches on the front, no magnification. And once the competition starts, you can't move your sight anymore. The other thing to note is that the eliminations are going to be just shot all the way through until the gold medal. So we're not going to do platforms or finals like we have in the past. It's all a time thing, just not enough time to do it. They've in the past, they've only done Saturday and then Sunday morning for qualifications. This year, they're going to do one on Friday as well. So Friday,
they opened up a Friday line.
Then Saturday, and then Sunday.
The target face is new to Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
So we're going from 3 arrows to 5 arrows.
Yes.
Which then changes the target face because if you shot a 3 spot, now it's going to be a 5 spot. It's a love-hate on that target. It does change the dynamic of the game a little bit because you're shooting 5. But the positive is that we're going from basically 4 hours to run a qualifier to 3 hours.
Right.
Also, when we get to eliminations, we're going from 5 ends down to 3 ends. To get through it, and it's going to speed everything up so that we can accommodate more youth archers. I was asking Kari, what is it like when you walk into this facility?
It can be, if you're not comfortable in large archery tournament environments, it can be a little bit intimidating. Our first experience was not as intimidating for us because we have shot Vegas and even Aggie Invite is a large tournament. I think that was our first big tournament where we're like, whoa, this is a lot of people. But it can be intimidating. It is but I don't want it to be intimidating when I say it can be if you're new to the large archery environment.
And that's why we're doing this podcast to make it less
that's
intimidating.
What I was trying to get
because when you walk into this, it's a big building.
I want you to know what to expect. And I hope that you get that out of this podcast. The kids will probably be a little nervous.
Probably way nervous compared to they normally are just because of the atmosphere and the amount of kids.
It's big. I was talking to Scott and it's kind of, I almost want to say it's the Vegas of Texas in that sense that it is so large because this is a large tournament for our youth. You don't get this kind of experience unless you're going to Vegas. So I kind of equate it to being equally as big as Vegas.
Yeah, and I would say hands down it's the largest youth event in Texas for archery.
For archery, yes.
I would venture to say there's not a competition in the world that gives out more scholarships to our youth,
to the youth, yeah,
in one event.
Right.
Last year they gave away how many dollars?
It was about $90,000 last year in scholarships and prizes to the kids. And I think this year we're knocking on $140,000.
And I'm not even sure that even counts all the gifts.
All the
that they
goodies,
get,
right?
All the goodies.
The kids can walk away with, in the past, it's been lifetime hunting and fishing licenses
For the seniors
for
only.
the seniors, buckles, banners, the Howdy trophy that only grand champions get
Which
at
I got to tell
Houston
you
Livestock
is
Show and
pretty
Rodeo.
sick.
It is.
Pretty sick.
Yes.
And heavy. That sucker's
Yes,
heavy.
it's one of those things that if you won grand champion in Houston for the steer, you are awarded the big H trophy. And then you're also, if you win grand champion as an archer, you get the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Grand Champion Trophy. There have been turtle box speakers. That was a big hit last year.
In the past, I gave away like
Frios, I think Frio
Yeah.
Ice Chest with big CCA stickers on them.
Cavender's gives away a lot of
Cavender's
gift cards.
gift cards, Lancaster Archery gift cards. So this is something that you don't see winnings in Vegas like this for our youth kids.
No, and it's got to tell you, the Vegas winnings are cool, but they're hard to get to manage. Like you have to get them into a fund, and you don't get those funds until
in college, basically.
Yeah, and then you go ahead and
Yeah.
realize. And I'm not knocking any of that
Not
money,
Vegas.
but I'm just saying, like, they make it a lot easier for you to get those scholarship dollars. But it's one of those events that they want to go big, and part of going big is having Kari and I out there doing live broadcast.
Yes.
We'll be doing the target side. On the 3D side, we're going to have a separate stream going, which we didn't do last year. We had it all going from one, and we kind of bounced around between the two. We're going to be bringing in a guy out of Oklahoma, Neil Cooley, which is he runs the Oklahoma podcast, and he's going to be doing live coverage of the 3D because that's his specialty. Kari and I definitely target.
Target, for sure.
Yeah, definitely target. We can talk target all day. Can't talk 3D all day.
Can't talk 3D all day.
We'll have a special guest. Rendon Brooks will be over there
Oh,
with him.
good.
And that'll be great.
Yes.
She'll bounce in and out there. There may be a few others. Always looking for anybody that wants to be a part of it. So if you are listening to this and you're like, you know what? I want my son or daughter to get up there and do an interview. Just tell us.
I've already had some requests on my end.
Yeah, I will step away and let Kari interview them or vice versa. It's not a problem. We want to get kids up there. We want to get them interviewing and on this live broadcast.
Let's talk about 3D for just a moment because we were going over mostly target rounds. 3D is indoor style 3D with known yardages. And my understanding is max distances are 20, 25, 30, and 40 yards. And then
depending on your bow
depending on your bow
and
discipline,
age.
yes. And then 12s are always in play. So that's a big one. There's no 14s, but 12s, both top, upper, and lower 12s are in play.
So just to be clear, I know some people out there do a lot of 3D. You don't call upper or lower. So if you just happen to be aiming at the bottom 12 and you hit the top 12, guess what? You get 12 points.
Quoting Tara, if you hit it, you get it.
There you go.
If you hit that 12 ring, that's what you'll score.
The other thing to note is that you don't straddle the line like you do on the target side.
Right.
You'll stand behind the line.
Behind the line. There is last year there was a practice range. I'm assuming there will be a 3D practice range again this year.
I would assume so.
Yeah. And that's helpful for the kids and to kind of help get the nerves out. They can shoot a few runs just to make sure that they're comfortable in the facility and shooting 3D.
Also, side note, Texas Archery will be out there selling some stuff. So what we've done over the years in the past is I'm going to try to remember to bring certain things that help our archers there. So if there's somebody that has a rest that breaks or a release that's an issue or a sight. I'll have sights out there in case we need an emergency sight on somebody's bow.
That's awesome.
We'll have that stuff out
that
there.
happens for sure.
And it does. It's always the little things like the springs and the
right.
For the hand ski
one thing that I remember last year was some either arrows or their veins. The veins were coming
lube.
off.
I just remembered
Arrow
when you
lube.
said that lube is what we did not have last year. I'll make a big note.
But I remember free-handing some veins on some arrows for some kids that were just like, hey, I don't know what to do with this. And I'm like, give them to me. I'm going to try my best. And I'd refletched arrows. So
You can get it pretty close that way.
yeah.
Pretty close.
And
Close
then
enough.
The occasional, blunted tip because of a miss maybe in 3D that, skid behind the target and hit the wall back there. But
Yep. So when you register for this, there's going to be certain requirements that your organization will require, meaning 4-H may require something a little different than USA requires and things like that. So just make sure you get with your extension office and make sure that you understand what has to happen once you register. I don't think there's as much restriction on this one as some of the others, meaning a lot of 4-H tournaments require you to have an eligibility form. I don't know if 4-H is requiring that or not for this one. In the past, they have, but I don't know in the last year or two if that's been the case because they've opened up other organizations.
Because it's not strictly a 4-H event. It's open to NFAA members, USA Archery members, ASA members, 4-H, and FFA.
The one thing I just remembered, I forgot to mention when we were talking about equipment. Let's talk about equipment just real quick. We're gonna come right back to equipment. There's always a question on arrow size for the compounders. Normally, for 4-H, they go off of a 23 by 64 size diameter for their largest arrow. Most 23s, if you're familiar with archery, they call them 23s. The 23 shaft fits just fine, but the point doesn't because the point's just a hair bigger. USA Archery, World Archery, they use a 9.3 size diameter, which is just a hair bigger than a 23 by 64. Right. The reason why that's important is that when you show up to the rodeo, they go by World Archery sizing, which is the 9.3, which allows those arrows to go through just fine.
Right.
So if you shoot a 23, be confident that it's going to work.
Right.
You're not going to have an issue with it. So when you're looking at the different divisions, we talked about bare bow. Bare bow, there's a ring that the bow's going to have to go through. So if you have weights on there, there's a ring that's going to run through around it. I don't remember the size of the ring.
Roughly, it's like 6 inches. I mean, that's just off the top of my head. I don't know the
You can
exact.
look it up on what it is. If there's a weight on there, like we had a couple kids show up and the weights didn't work, so we had to take the weights off and they had to shoot without the weights.
Shoot without weights.
Or one of the weights.
Right.
Just take note of that. Recurve is kind of like freestyle. There's no limit other than you can't have magnification on there. You can't... and then there's some certain sizes, like your aperture can only be a certain size. And so there are some rules there. But if you're showing up with a limp recurve, more likely all that equipment will work. I very seldom ever see any issues with that. They all fall within the normal parameters. Freestyle, it's freestyle. Everything goes. Fixed pin, we talked about that, 12 inches off the front. Stabilizer, I believe, is there...
I think there's a rear stabilizer also of 12 inches.
Yeah, we were supposed to look that up before this.
I'm going to have it right here. Let me just... 12 inches in length, including weights for the single rear stabilizer for 3D competition.
So it's 12 and 12?
On fixed pins, yes.
Oh, take note on that because that is something that's not the case for some of the other organizations. So if you're going to if you're running fixed pins, make sure it's a 12-inch stabilizer on the front, and that's from riser to the end of the weights.
Yes.
Not just the stabilizer.
Right.
And that would be the same for the back bar as well.
And then NASP, we can go over that real quick.
Go ahead.
The NASP has to be the Genesis bow, not the Mini, not the X, just the regular Genesis, and you must shoot the Genesis arrows, which I think are 16-15s. Don't quote me for sure.
I can't remember either.
I was just looking at some the other day, but you will have to shoot those arrows.
So I think the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is proof that archery belongs in this big stage. With the amount of archers that we get, it obviously needs some type of spotlight on them.
For sure.
And that's where Raising an Archer comes in. That's where Eyes on Score comes in with live scoring, so you'll be able to see every arrow, every end will tell you every arrow that they score. And I just want to thank everybody for listening in. If you have any questions, email us at raisinganarcher@gmail.com, and we'll be able to answer those for you, no problem. And like we said, you can find us, Raising an Archer, on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, so you can see everything out there. Live coverage. We're not sure exactly where live coverage will be pointing to quite yet. Usually we're going to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo exhibit Facebook page, but we may have that go to some others. Don't know yet, but we'll figure that out soon.
And we'll see you at the next target.